beyond the struggle. I'm addicted to hustle. Make a promise to win till it becomes you on this paper chase.
What's good, everybody? This is your man montEASY, better known as the Theme Song King, and I am back with another Hanging with the Legends session, another classic interview. And I told you I was going to bring a special guest with me this time, man. Somebody that everybody in the current wrestling fan base wants to get an opportunity to know. One of my good friends. So I said I'm going to bring him to the table, and we're going to sit down and we're going to have a round table discussion with just us. So I am here to bring my big homie, one of my great friends in the entertainment business, my man Shane Strickland.
What's good, man?
Killshot, you already know what it is. What's good with you, man?
Shoot, just feeling busy as hell, man. You know how it is. Yeah. Especially in this entertainment business. We do the same type of entertainment, man.
Yeah.
Just wrestling, music, all of it. It all comes together. So we're both on the road. We're both traveling, going all over the place. Busy schedule, busy life.
Amen, man. See, when I started this, I had some notes in my hand, and I had some typed out questions and things of that nature, but I can't do that. I have to do everything off the cuff, the way I know how, the way it needs to get done. So on Hanging with the Legend sessions, what we do is we sit down and we have a conversation, not only about wrestling, but about life. I like to talk to these wrestlers about life, music, things that they don't really get a lot of questions about. You know, when you're an entertainer, we both are, you get a lot of the same questions all the time. You get a lot of the same things. But here, I like to have it as we're two homies having a conversation, and the camera just happens to be rolling. Shout out to Walker Visions on the film as well. We appreciate you, homie. And let's start from the very beginning. So here's my first question to you, and it's going to come straight off the cliff.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you think is the relationship between fans and wrestlers today, with the aspect of social media from the back times to now?
Yeah. Funny, I had a conversation about this with one of my friends a little while ago. Back in, from the impression I get back in the day with pro wrestling in like the 90s, the 80s, it seemed like there was like a force field that the fans could not get through to reach the wrestler, and they didn't know the aspect of our life. They assumed a lot. They drew a lot of conclusions about the ways we live, the ways we go about our routinely daily lives as performers, as wrestlers and everything. And so we had like a more of a rock star feel. You know, nowadays our lives are so much more opened out to everybody that there's not an assumption as much anymore. They know mutual friends of wrestlers' friends. So like it's more like a big old group of friends in the wrestling world, whether it be fans, whether it be wrestlers, or friends of a wrestler, or friends of friends of friends of a wrestler.
Right. We're
all in a group now. It's more of a wrestling community now. You know, that back then it wasn't like that. So nowadays I would say it's more of a community where like a fan doesn't necessarily know you as the wrestler, but they know your group of people. They hang out with those group of people, and they hang out with you. So therefore, sometimes when you all go out after an event or a big show, they all mingle together. So now it's more like a big old mingling community as far as like the fan and the wrestler. It's more closed in. It's not as much that barricade anymore. So we're all one big group of a social friendship, you know.
Would you say that it's a certain barrier that a fan needs to still understand, even though it's your profession?
Yeah, it's definitely crossed a lot. It's allowed a lot of fans to be entitled to the world of the profession, you know, and it's kind of what's hurting it a little bit, because now on social media everybody's entitled to an opinion based on fact. You know, it's not like people speak based on opinion anymore. They speak based on fact, using their opinion, and that's where the line should be drawn. There's that respect is kind of being lost a little bit more too.
Understood.
You know, because back in the day, a fan wouldn't dare talk to like Ric Flair or a Gagne that way. They wouldn't speak to them like that. They would be more afraid. They would have to go through channels to approach them, let alone speak to them. So nowadays they can straight up tweet right at a wrestler, "Oh, your match was terrible." But you know, that barrier's gone now.
Right.
You know, there's so much access to us, and we need to put a little bit more delay, or like just a little more of that protection between the wrestler and the fan, and the guardrail's not enough anymore.
Do you think that do you think it started happening when kind of like Vince McMahon and the WWE started pulling back the curtain on a lot of the things, or you think it just evolution of just how it happened?
I think it was just internet. The internet.
Wow.
The
good
internet,
answer. Good answer.
The internet is because everybody wants to know everything. You know, and the internet has information based on everything that you can imagine. So it was going to be, of course, easy access to find out how our inner circle works. You know, our industry is out there for everybody. Like, you can Google how to be a wrestler, and there's step by step plans right there on Wikipedia. You know, so there's ways to, you don't have to do much.
That's a fact.
You know,
that's a fact.
And back in the day, like, you had to know a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy. You know, you literally had to be connected with the right people to find out how to where to go to train, who to meet. Like, how do you do this? How do you train for this kind of stuff? The stuff, like pretty much the memorandum of how to do this kind of stuff. You know, now you can just Google it. An 8-year-old can figure out how to become a professional wrestler. You know, and like, my kids know how to use iPads and iPhones and stuff.
My 6-year-old know how to use a phone.
Exactly.
That's crazy. So I definitely understand and see where you're coming from. What do you think, like, for the future and for the fans with the wrestlers, when you meet a fan and they come to you when you're at an autograph session and stuff like that? I have to ask this because a fan wanted to know, what is a pet peeve when you're meeting a fan? What's a pet peeve of something a fan should not do? Question.
I can't stand when fans use insider terms. I can't stand it. Yeah. Because they once again, there's that barrier. They try to cross into that barrier, and like, that's a big no-no. You know, like, that's almost as if you're meeting Hugh Jackman, who's playing Wolverine, and you're asking all these behind the scene questions. You don't, like, he doesn't want to give you that. He wants you to be lost in the character in the film of Logan. He wants you to be lost in that, even if it is just an autograph session. You know. They want you to still, like, see them as larger than a human, you know. Then as wrestlers, when we're still doing an autograph session, when we're still, like, go from the match to selling our merchandise at our table, we're still within the confines of the show. That's still the show. Like, from the doors open till doors close, end of the last bell, we're still confined in that show. We're still giving that fantasy off. And when fans try to break that fantasy in between that time, that's a very disrespectful thing to do, because it's almost like being in theater, watching a play, and you keep and there's the intermission, and you want to keep asking questions about how the backdrop fall down, how long did it take for makeup, and like, how, you know, you're still in the confines of the theater. You know, like, the curtain has not closed yet.
Right.
When that curtain's open, till the time that curtain closes, you're still in the show, and don't break that for anything. You know, at theaters, they still don't let people in after the doors close and the lights go off. They don't let people in sometimes because they're in the confines of the show. They want to leave that fantasy in that room,
right? And
you want to confine that, and that's a special moment. Same thing with the wrestling show. You don't want to break that. You know, you want to keep that right there, and you want the other fans, and you don't want to ruin it for the other fans as well that are being as lost into the show and the event as much as you are. You know, we work hard for that, and we want to give them what they paid for. You know, so you don't want to ruin that for everybody else or the performers as well.
Great answer. I deal with that from time to time, doing, especially as I see with my grind, I'm starting to come up. I can definitely understand. You know, you don't want nobody telling you how to rap or anything like that. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. What is the toughest part about being an entertainer?
Travel. For me, travel. All the stresses that comes with it. Leaving loved ones. Your body's hurt. You got to get back on a plane or get back in the car for 8-hour drives. You know, being home for like not even a full day, but a couple hours just to change, shower, repack your stuff, wash your clothes, and then get back on the road. Being gone for 3-4 weeks sometimes, and still having to manage at home while you're away. You know, that's tough. You know, like, I got to manage my home at the same time. I have 2 girls in 2 different homes that I gotta worry about and make sure are okay. You know, it's tough to do that while just on your phone. You know, so travel is definitely the hardest, and at times when your body's hurt and you still have to get on the road, still you don't feel like your back's hurt, you don't feel like getting on a plane and sitting there for hours, you don't feel like getting on a bus or a train or a car ride with 6 other guys packed in. When your body's hurting, you need to stretch out, you need to relax, but no, you got to get from A to B by this time. You got a deadline to hit.
You know, man, let's get enough with the wrestling questions, man. You know, hanging with the legends, man. I like to bring these guys in, not ask them the same stuff all the time. And I want to bring to something I really wanted to talk about. Hip-hop music. Who's your favorite rapper of all time?
Of all time for my generation, I'm going Kanye. You know, he was the first, pretty much. If you think about it, he was like the first backpack rapper. Then along came Lupe shortly after that. Like Common was Common before that in the '90s, a little late 90s. Yeah. But like that era of like the backpack rapper, the Chicago, like that. He brought an original sound. He was one of the first rappers to bring opera into hip hop. You know, if you think about it.
Definitely.
You know, I was influenced by Kanye, just like the style, the way he dressed. Like we always say, hip hop is a lifestyle, and it truly is. You know, and Kanye brought a more sophisticated lifestyle to hip hop at that time with College Dropout and the Late Registrations.
Which is his best album to you?
Everybody says College Dropout is, but me personally, my favorite is Late Registration. If you think about the bangers on that thing, man. If you think about the bangers on that, like
I said the same thing.
No, bro, like College Dropout, it definitely, you could visualize that entire album. Like, you know, like sitting in class, you want to get out of class and you just bobbing your head, you're doing this, you're not even paying attention to schoolwork, you just beating on the desk and all that.
Right.
And then like going to college, oh man, you're late to this, you're late to that, like you want to do this, oh man, everybody's dressing this way, but I like to wear this, you know, like that's what the whole College Dropout experience was. Like everybody felt like, because everybody was on the Cameron Dipset time at that time.
Yeah,
everybody was baggy jeans,
the big jerseys. I was wearing my 5'5" ass, wearing big jerseys and shit. Know? Down here, I look crazy.
Yeah, and me personally at that time when I was going to like a hood school, and like I went to both schools. I went to like hood schools. I went to white preppy schools. I went to like in Spanish schools. I went to all of them. You know, because we moved around a lot. But so I experienced all of it. But when I went to the hood schools, I was always like the trend behind. You know, I was always like what's cool now? Oh, everybody's wearing pink now, pink tall tees with the bandanas, not the bandanas, but the do rags all the way out. Oh, we don't tie the do rags. Oh, we're on Air Force Ones. We're doing this. So I'm like, oh. So I was always like, when they were moving on to the next one, I was always like phasing into this. So, but Kanye was always just like right there. Boom. We're wearing polos. We're wearing Jesus pieces. We're wearing backpacks when we walk around. We keeping backpacks on when we walk in the store, like the little small ones, not the big ones. And not fitted hats, man. We just be doing clean shaved Caesars. We're having Caesars now. We're not getting cornrows anymore. You know.
Let me ask you this. This is a segue to that because you think about the times from back then. This is a really controversial question, but it's something that only people that are hip hop fans can understand. If you're a Kurt Cobain fan or Nirvana or Jimi Hendrix, please rest in peace. When an artist dies prematurely to where they get to the prime of their careers or they're in the prime of their careers, Biggie, Big Pun, Pac, for example, does their death overrate them as MCs, or do you think they're properly placed?
It elevates them. In my mind, me personally, okay, I feel like they did that more. I feel like they did that more. Oh yeah. I feel like they did that more for Biggie than they did for Pac, because Pac had like years and put out his several albums, his mixtapes. He put out a long stretch, and so you seen his growth. We didn't see Biggie's growth as an artist yet.
Not really, no.
Yo, we only got 2 albums from Biggie, and we didn't get mixtapes. We didn't get like those unfound tracks of Biggie. No, what we got was what we got, and we lived with it. And then we tried to mix it later on and put more artists in it. And I'm like, no, with Pac, we got so many unreleased tracks over the next 10, 15 years after his death. You know, so I feel like Pac didn't reach his prime, but I don't feel like that necessarily falls under him, because Pac had generational music. Biggie didn't have generational music.
No, not really.
You know what I mean?
Not really.
No, like he only put out 2 albums and no mixtapes and no unreleased tracks.
Right.
So like we got pretty much the rise of them. We didn't get like the peak in the fall. I feel like Pac, we got the rise and then the peak, and then it was cut off at the peak before he fell. Right. So that's why I feel like for Biggie more so than anybody. Right. And same with Pun too. Yeah. Like Pun was on the rise and then cut off. He didn't get to the peak yet, and then fall. I think he was still on his rise, and then boom.
Okay.
That's what I feel.
Are you the type of entertainer that would admit that, okay, you're a wrestler, I'm a rapper, so we look at things kind of, we're the same, but we're different.
We are entertainers.
We're entertainers,
we
right.
are all entertainers.
We're all entertainers. So do you look, when you look at another person, like let's say somebody who trained you or somebody who's at a big position, it's not hard for me to admit that another rapper is better than me, but the competitor in me will make it be like, I'm not going to make it easy for you type thing.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel that way as a wrestler? Like, even if there's somebody you think is better than you that you're in the ring with, you're not going to actually tell them that?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay.
Prime example. My mentors, I had like 5 major mentors in my wrestling career. My first major one was Adam Cole. And he's the first person I met he's the one that brought me into CZW. And he was the first one I met, and I pretty much did my tape studies and was under his tutelage for like about a year and a half, 2 years at the time. Then came Sami Callihan, then came Rich Swann, then came AR Fox, and then as of late it was Ricochet.
Okay.
So those are my guys that pretty much, like, there's a little bit of them in me and in everything I do. You know, like I pull from them on all the things, you know. So I understand the pedestal that I put them on. They're really up there, and all 5 of them are the top of the industry, in the independent wrestling industry, you know. So the competitive nature in me is to try to, I always want to aspire to be better than them. It's very, very tough, and that's why I want that, because it shouldn't be easy. You know, I always, like, if we're on the same shows, and we've been on the same shows a lot more now. This year, I've been on those shows with those guys, you know, or I've been like higher on the card than them, or they've been higher on the card than me. I always want to try to outperform them. You know, that's where I feel like when I can do that, that's where I feel like, okay, I've made it to where I needed to be, because I want to outperform my predecessors. You know,
right?
That's where I want to be, and it's not like, oh, I want them to do worse. I hope they really mess up or really mess up, like, or get hurt in the match. I don't want them to do worse. I want to always do better. You know, at some point, the people that mentor you, they want to see the people that is training under their tutelage to pass them at some point. They want that. That shows them as mentors. That shows them as performers and trainers and all of that. You know, and them being my best friends, they've always pushed me to do better as well. You know, every last one of them pushed me to try to do better than them, and I still see them as like these great idols to me. You know, and we're cohorts, but at the same time, I still put them up there. But at the same time, I still want to outperform them. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel that when you listen to certain rappers, even if you hear like their first single or their first album, that us as fans can give up on them too easy, or you just know that you just kind of like, nah, this guy's trash, and you're never going to give him a second win? What do you think? Like, do you, as you as a fan, do you say, I'll give him another shot?
Oh yeah, I give several artists a lot of shots, man. Cause like not every artist is great in every aspect that they try in music. You know, that's their first time.
That's a fact.
Definitely not their first time. You know, Kendrick wasn't the Kendrick we have now.
No,
like,
definitely not.
Back on Overly Dedicated, he wasn't the same guy.
Right.
If you watch his growth, man, it's crazy.
You notice he was probably about Section 80 is when you notice he was going to be like, okay.
But even still, not even Good Kid. It took
the second one, right?
It really took freaking Pimp a Butterfly to really see, like, okay, this guy, this is it. He's the man. Yeah. It wasn't like Good Kid was an amazing album, but Pimp a Butterfly is the one that won the Grammys.
Right.
If you think about it. So, like, man, it's never the first try on anything. You have to try in every aspect to find what your niche is. You know, we trash a lot of these artists now. Trust me, I'm with them. Not putting any names out there, but we trash a lot of these guys now. Yeah. And then the new XXL cover is going to be a very interesting one. I'll tell you that. Because we laughed at last year's.
Oh my!
We laughed at last year's.
God.
We're gonna laugh again this year. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh my God!
But those guys are still young. They're freshmen.
Right. Can you? Okay. Let's say use Kanye for example. Yeah. Can you have writers write for you as an artist? And still call yourself the best rapper in the world?
You can't call yourself an MC. That's what I'll say. I'll say that.
I love this guy, man.
You can't call yourself a true MC. It's like an artist is a different category.
Yeah.
An artist is like all over the place. Travis Scott is an artist. Is he one of the best MCs? No, but he's a fantastic artist for how music is nowadays and what he does with it. He's a visual artist. For his music, you can hear it and you can see, you can close your eyes and you can literally see the kind of music he has that he's putting out there.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some fun fact questions. This is all gonna be one word answers. You can't expound on anything. This is just gonna be off the cuff questions.
Catch and shoot.
Catch and shoot. So one word answers.
Let's go.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Jay.
G-Unit or Dipset?
Unit.
Lil Wayne or T.I.?
Wayne.
DJ Khaled or DJ Clue?
Clue.
Does Rick Ross have one of the most underrated catalogs in history?
One of them.
Does image really matter to you in who you listen to as a rapper?
For me, no. But it is important.
Okay. 50 Cent in the club or Nas one mic?
One mic all day.
Kendrick or J. Cole?
Kendrick.
You have to start a starting 5 in hip hop. 5 artists to start with for the next 10 years. Who you picking?
Okay. Oh, okay. So nobody 40 and above.
No,
Okay.
young guys.
Big Sean. Travis. ASAP. Anderson .Paak. Then you gotta go with Kendrick.
1 to 10 honest opinion, not just because I'm here. Rate me as an artist from 1 to 10.
You are at a 6 to 7.
Pretty good.
Anywhere between that threshold.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll take that. That's great. That's great. That is great.
Yo, energy is a big thing.
Yeah.
Energy is a big thing as an artist.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, good one. Here's a good one. Was DMX at one time the best rapper in the world? In his prime, would you say he was the best in the world? Even for a year?
No.
Wow.
No. Cause that was 99, 2000. No, 98 was it was 99, 2000. That Dark and Hell is Hot.
That's 98. That's 97.
97. Oh man.
Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood
was like 99, 2000, right? Or
they
98.
both came out in the same year. So you say
Was
98. They're like 98, 99.
It had to have been later.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure.
Because the Great Depression was 01.
Because it was Dark and Hell is Hot was the first one.
Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood had Slippin' on it.
That was the next. That had to have been a new.
That was the second one, yeah. Yeah, because the first one was Rough Riders Anthem and stuff. Mm-hmm. Then the second one had Slippin' and What's My Name? Or what was my name on the third one?
No, that was on the third one.
Okay.
Because the second one was Ain't No Other Cat's Got Love For Me.
Yeah.
That was Flesh of My Flesh.
Yeah.
So like 97. Because to me, this still was. I'd still put Jay above him because what's it called? Hard Knock Life Volume 2 came out around then, and that went diamond. Mm-hmm. And like that's when his flow. I feel like his flow was at is best.
Jay-Z?
Like of course, Black Album everybody proclaims his best album, but his flow was the best at Hard Knock Life 2.
That's a hard thing to debate because if you listen back to that album, he was definitely
his flow was
at a peak. Yeah,
but yeah, that's where his flow, his talent was right there. So I can't. DMX is definitely top 5 in that era, but like Method Man was still killing it too. Actually, New York was on fire at that time. The whole East Coast was on fire. Cause I'm trying to think like that's Cash Money was still out.
Cash Money. Around that time, Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang was on its last leg. I'm trying to think of other artists that was like M just came out with Infinite or Slim Shady LP.
That was a good time, man.
Yeah. But like the trend was Cash Money and it was Rockefeller.
Were you one of the fans that when 50 Cent came out and he was a Ja Rule fan, you just switched sides on Ja Rule?
I was never a Ja Rule fan at all.
Bro.
I was never a Ja Rule fan.
I switched sides on Ja so hard.
I was never into like.
I turned heel on that motherfucker so quick.
Truth be told, I didn't know. I knew Ja as a feature artist at that time. I didn't really know Ja as like.
So you wasn't feeling what would that be without you? You wasn't
but
you?
Before that, he was like on Foxy Brown's album, songs. I was like, Ja's a feature artist. I didn't think he was an artist. But then when 50 came out, that's when Ja became an artist.
Okay.
If you think about it,
I have to say this. I just had to say this because it was off the cuff. The Cool and Food and Liquor, both of those albums are classic.
Yes.
I do not want to hear nobody tell me that the first two Lupe albums. Those first two Lupe albums are classics. Pressure with Jay-Z, Just Might Be Okay, Little Weapon. Bro, those two albums are classic. I just had to say that.
The Cool itself. And then Put You On Game was fire. Like, The Die. Yes. The Die was death.
Oh,
man.
What's on that album? The first one. I Got You was fire.
The one he did with Jill Scott.
Shower.
Yeah. Daydream.
Yep.
That video was hot.
That video was fire.
The video was hot. Like I'm like, that's when the backpack era rappers started like really taking off. Like, cause if you want to add in more, like the Talib Kweli's and the Mos Defs came in, like they were doing it before, obviously, but like. That's where they came into that mold too. Like that's where like the vets came in mixed with the new school, the backpack rappers. That's what the good music guys just started like catching fire.
Yep.
And like, that was my era. That was my like thing right there.
Okay. Question. Two more quick fire questions. The years of Lil Wayne in his prime. What was his definite run as the best rapper in the world? Because we argue about this all the time. You think 07?
No. Wait, was it 07?
You think it started 07?
Yeah.
When he started doing features on everybody's stuff?
Well, 07.
Like Duffel Bag Boy time, stuff like that?
Yeah, 07, because Carter 3.
Yeah.
Came out 07. I base album years and music when they came out on where I was in my military. Because, like, I did basic training, and like that summertime, I missed a lot of music. But 07, that was summer of 07, yeah, because I graduated 07. Summer of 07 is when we got like Soulja Boy came out, and then we got like the R. Kelly Usher Same Girl came out at that time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like, and then I remember, it was 08. It was the following year, because we came out, did our training thing, and that was 08. Carter 3 came out. And so 07, 08, because Chris Brown's second album came out.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
So it had to been 06, where he did like...
Exclusive had Wall to Wall on them on there. Yep.
And then like 06, on the first Chris Brown album, they did Give Me That, and then Wayne was on that.
Right.
And then like he started...
So that was around that time.
So it was 06 to 08, was where he just started like getting on everybody's stuff.
Okay.
So I say like 08.
Yo. My mentor, one thing, I want to give a shout out to my mentor, Shamel Durant. In closing, thank you for all your inspiration as well to bring me this idea. Shamel Durant was a producer for Belle Bill DeVoe. He produced Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See for Busta Rhymes. Him and Busta Rhymes came from the same school. So Public Enemy trained them, and them two trained me. So
amazing.
Thank you very much for watching Hanging with the Legends Volume 2. I am here with my man Shane Strickland, Killshot. You guys, this interview is all off the cuff. You wrestling fans want to learn different things about these guys that is not just a regular. You can go to high spots. You can go anywhere to check out the normal interviews when you were montEASY. We're going to talk some bars. We're going to talk a little wrestling, and we're going to talk life. So thank you very much for coming on, my brother.
Yes, sir.
God bless. Man. Thank you, man.
I'm just a call away.
This is my dude right here. montEASY, Walker Visions. Salute, man. NTL, baby.
Call me ACH. This passion has been my pedigree. Been beyond the struggle. I'm addicted to hustle.